morning, boys and girls. I am Mr. Osborne. I'm the principal at Woodbridge High School. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to our high school, to our auditorium. G&T is a great program. You guys are working very hard on your projects. I can't wait to see them. How was the ride here today?
It's okay.
On time? Who said loud? Why was it loud? A lot of kids on the bus? Okay, so I'm not going to hold you up because we have to get to lunch on time. Otherwise, 1,700 kids are going to be eating lunch with you. It can be at times overwhelming. So at this time, I'm going to introduce our Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Boscarino. Can we give him a hand?
Thank you, Mr. Osborne. Thank you, Mrs. Breland. Thank you to all our G&T faculty and staff that are here today. And most importantly, I'm going to ask you some questions. See, we're going to start with a pop quiz. Is this an interactive group, Mrs. Breland? You think they're?
I think so.
Think they're up for the challenge? What's a convocation? What do you got? It's an assembly. What kind of assembly? There's a key word I'm looking for. Go ahead. You can't be wrong, though. You know, when people are like, don't worry, you can't be wrong. You can't be wrong. I didn't listen.
Conversation.
You were very, very close. Very close. I'm going to give that to you. Congregation is one of them. The word I'm looking for is formal. Right? It's formal. Meaning, we're all here. It's a large group. It's a large gathering. But it's formal. What do you got? Nope, I already gave you the answer. It's formal. It's okay. Now, why are we here? Why are we here? What are you doing today? Yeah? Well, we're always learning. We're always learning. Why are you here? What's one of the main reasons you guys are all here today? We got 5 schools together. We got 5 different staffs, and we're in a high school. Why?
To present.
That's right. You're here to present. You're here to present your hard work. Right? You are representative of all 5 middle schools. And one of the things that I know Mrs. Breland has worked on and does a great job of celebrating with the G&T program is we have the opportunity to go from school to school. Right? One year I think Woodbridge hosted it. It's been attending for a few years. And the idea is that we rotate. So the idea is that you guys all get to come to a place that you'll be back to within the same school district. That's one of the greatest benefits that we offer in Woodbridge, is the size of it. And because of the size of it, we have a substantial number of opportunities that would never be provided to students if we all go to school in one small place. All right? We're here for your efforts. We're also here for something else. And I'll give you the rest of the answers, don't worry. All right, but we're also here for something else. You guys are all here because you have an aptitude, a very specific one. It could be in a certain area, and all of us are different. You look around the room, we have different aptitudes, we have different interests. That's what you get to present today. But more than your aptitude, it's your efforts. Whatever you want to accomplish in your lives, whatever opportunities are in front of you, because you're all middle school, so there's a ton in front of you. And you're going to have that in each of the high schools, whether you attend Woodbridge High School, whether you attend JFK, or whether you attend Colonia. We have opportunities, countless opportunities in our schools. You're going to get to hear from some of our supervisors, some of our administrators, some of our teachers about some of those opportunities. But no matter what you choose to do, I want you to think about today. I want you to think about a gathering, a formal gathering, of students that have all put a substantial amount of effort into a presentation with the idea that they're going to share that presentation. Who said learning? Who said learning? With the idea that we're going to share that presentation and give everyone here the opportunity to learn and get a little bit of insight into what we've worked on, right? Because your interests may be different than the person sitting next to you. That's okay. That's what makes this room great. That's what makes your participation in today great. Because we get to see that. We get to look at someone who may have given a different presentation and think, wow, knowing what you did in your presentation you can appreciate what they did in theirs. You can appreciate the effort that they put into that presentation, and you can appreciate the product, the outcome of what they did. So it's really an exciting day. All right, it's an exciting day because we're here to celebrate all of you. We're here to celebrate everything that you did and celebrate everything that you're going to do in your next 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years of your education. So good luck, congratulations, and welcome.
I just want to welcome you all today, and it's true, we're celebrating everything that you've accomplished, all the research that you've done, and sharing that here today. But the other thing we're going to do today is focus on the theme of having no regrets in high school. And we would like to give you all of the information you need to be intentional. Remember that word, to be intentional about your education. That means you're not just wandering through high school, taking whatever classes seem right at the moment. You're thinking about it, you're making a plan, and that's why we're introducing you to a lot of people throughout the district who can help you with that plan today. So in between your presentations, you'll be hearing from folks who can help you to have no regrets about high school. So when you come to planning your junior or senior year schedule, we don't want you to say, I wish I took that class as a freshman because then I'd be able to take this, I would be able to do that. We don't want you to say that. We want you to know in advance what you need to do to get where you want to be. You may not remember everything, and that's okay because you're also going to meet people that you can reach out to, okay? Your first point of contact can always be the G&T office, and if you have a question, oh, I think I heard something like this about convocation, but I don't remember exactly the sequence of courses, right? I can say, oh, you need to talk to the math supervisor, and I can connect you with the right person. Okay, so if you have questions, maybe a year, maybe 2 years later, you can always call back to the G&T office and get on track. So, do we have Mr. Jago and G&T students here? Okay, so that's who's going to speak to you next. You're going to hear about G&T in the high schools and about some special classes we have related to G&T. So, Mr. Jago.
Good morning. First of all, I want to congratulate all of you. What you're doing is a big accomplishment, and it's always nice to see young students like yourselves really enthralled in research and presentations and stuff like that. It's really going to help you in high school levels. This is Sam Vicente. She's a senior here in Woodbridge High School. We're going to talk to you a little bit about the AP Capstone program, which G&T will set you up for starting your sophomore year. So, when you come to Woodbridge High School in your sophomore year, you'll be able to take what's called AP Capstone. It is a 2-year program that will really build off of what you're doing here today. So in seminar, you are going to do performance tasks that are required by College Board, where they will have you do all types of research based on topics that you choose. The first performance task is a group presentation, where you'll take your group, you'll do separate research, you'll bring that research together, and then you'll give the presentation with your group. The second performance task kind of takes what you learned in the first one, and then you will do an individual task, where you'll choose a topic, do the research, and again, present that information to College Board, and it's scored through that. The second year is called AP Research. To me, AP Research really does give you the kind of true college experience within the high school hallways. It's very individualized. It's the same type of investigative research. The only difference is that you're finding a gap in the research that you're doing, and you're collecting data. You're giving out surveys. You're taking that data and looking at trends and really kind of building off of your own research to come up with your own conclusions and create a project in that sense. Now, the Capstone program is really great because it is more of an exclusive program. I think as of now, there are roughly 2,000 schools worldwide that offer a Capstone. It's not that heavily advertised. And what you can do, the end goal, is that if you pass AP Research and AP Seminar, and you also pass 4 other AP exams, you get what's called an AP Diploma, which can be used as a more exclusive thing in terms of looking down the road when you're applying to colleges and looking for other programs and stuff like that. You can say that you've achieved something that not many people have achieved. I believe we've been doing capstone for about 5 years now, 5, 6 years, and I've had 2 or 3 receive AP diplomas, which is really great. So they were able to use that and kind of use it in their college search, and it is a pretty exclusive thing. Sam is going to talk about not only a product of the G&T program, she's also a product of the capstone program. I brought her along because I want her to talk about how she's kind of used the capstone program, not only in her senior year, but how she's going to plan on using it and beyond. So here's Sam.
So yeah, my name is Sam. I'm currently a senior right now at Woodbridge High School. So my freshman year, I took G&T. I also took G&T all through middle school. And then my sophomore year, I took AP Seminar. My junior, and I took AP Research. So I definitely really enjoy taking Seminar and Research both. Like, not only did I enjoy it, but I felt like the classes themselves were so helpful for me. Like, not only in, like, because it is an English elective class, but it helped me in all of my subject classes. Like, when I know I was taking, I'm very science heavy, so it helped me in all of my science classes, even my math classes, my history classes, because in every type of class you're going to have to do some kind of research. And even being in G&T, I felt like helped me come into Seminar, because I felt like that was kind of the foundation for Seminar. I already knew some of the things that we were going to talk about, especially in Convocation. Like, it was a little bit similar to the projects that we did in AP Seminar. Also, like Mr. Jago said, in Seminar you have 2 major projects, and both of them are group projects. But the first one is more kind of like a learning it's the same project basically twice, but the first one you're kind of like learning everything. So I know when I did it the first time, I kind of felt a little unsure and felt like I wasn't really doing it right, but Mr. Jago really helped us through it, and I really did learn through it, and especially learning it in like a group setting versus AP Research was a lot more individualized, and I felt like it helped me more in a sense of preparing me for college, because you really are doing everything on your own. It's Mr. Jago kind of giving you the work, saying, okay, this is what you have to do, guys, let me know if you need any help, and you really have to stay on track of your work the whole time, because you are basically the one making all of the decisions for yourself. And not only that, but it really shows you what a true college class is like, because our school offers many different college classes, AP, dual enrollment, all different kinds, but this is the only one that I have taken that I really feel has prepared me for going into college. And not only that, it has been, AP Research and AP Seminar are accepted from all of the colleges that I've applied to. And usually when you apply to colleges, they have like a sheet of say like, okay, like we accept these AP classes and you need to get a certain score on the exam. And all of the colleges that I applied to, even if they weren't on that list, they all said that I would be able to submit my research paper from research to show them, and then they would assess it and tell me which class exactly that they would count that for. But overall, I feel like taking AP Research and Seminar has really helped me and prepared me for going into college. But I think that's pretty much everything.
If you guys need more information, if you access my Google site through the Woodbridge High School staff page, my Google site has a presentation on Capstone. It goes into a little bit more specifics. My email is on there as well. You guys can always reach out to me and I'll give you guys as much information as you need. Thank you.
Thank you. So it seems like a long way away, but in a few short years, you'll be like Sam, ready to graduate. So that's why we want you to plan ahead. There's so many opportunities for you. Another opportunity at all 3 of our high schools is National Honor Society. So here at Woodbridge High, Ms. Bali and Mrs. Kavaya are the NHS, or National Honor Society advisors, and they are going to speak to you about National Honor Society.
Well, good morning. How's everyone doing today? Well, first off, I want to say a huge congratulations to you all because this is a very big accomplishment and you all should be extremely proud of yourself. So I am Ms. Ballet. I'm one of the NHS advisors here at Woodbridge High School, and Ms. Kabaya is our other co-advisor at Woodbridge High School. So we have 2 advisors for National Honor Society at Woodbridge High. So I want to talk to you guys a bit of our requirements, criteria, and guidelines for our National Honor Society. And juniors and seniors are the only ones who are allowed to apply. You have to have at least a 3.3 GPA. You typically apply around halfway through your junior year or halfway through your senior year. You have to have community service hours, and this is including things such as tutoring, helping out in a soup kitchen, park cleanups. These are activities that you do that you do not get paid for. So it's volunteer work. How many of us here in this room, show of hands, are in National Junior Honor Society? Okay, a good amount, excellent. Very good. So this is something that hopefully you look up to and you want to do in the next couple of years. So we also have here that in National Honor Society, you have to be a part of clubs and activities. And here at Woodbridge High School, we have over 50 clubs. We have a good amount of clubs and activities that you can be a part of. And that's something that we look forward to and we hope to see on your application when you apply. We also look to see that you have great attendance and not a lot of tardies. So it's important that you're here kind of every day, and that your tardies, you show up to school on time and your classes on time. That's very big, so make sure that you keep that in the back of your mind as well. And we're looking to see that you guys are all well-rounded students. It's important to be involved. Get yourself involved. Not only get those good grades, but be a part of the clubs and the activities and the things that we have to offer here, not only at Woodbridge, but in the other schools as well. We look at everything that you do from 9th grade all the way through your 12th grade. So it's super important. If you do something in 9th grade, make sure it's awesome. The key here is do good things, even when nobody is looking, okay? If you guys have any questions, we have more information on our Google site, but I'm gonna give the mic over to Ms. Kavaya, and she'll explain a little bit more about NHS.
Good morning, I'm Ms. Kabaya, and welcome to Woodbridge High School. I know Mr. Passman had already asked how your trip was here. He asked about the ride, I was going to ask how was the walk. But in any event, jokes aside, because everybody knows I'm not good with jokes, our National Honor Society chapter follows the national guidelines, in which we are founded upon 4 pillars: character, scholarship, service, and leadership. Do those sound familiar? Yes. So we continue with those same pillars at the high school level. As Ms. Ballet said, juniors and seniors are eligible for application based on the eligibility for GPA requirements. However, we also do have a couple of students here with their own unique experiences to guide you in what those 4 pillars actually mean and what we've been doing with the Woodbridge High School chapter, okay? First is Samantha.
Hi guys, I'm Sam. I'm a current senior at Woodbridge High School, and I'm going to tell you guys about the pillars and why they're important. So our first pillar is character. Character is vital to leading a positive, successful life. It entails choosing to have and show kindness, honesty, empathy, and integrity in all we do. So having character is going to be very important all throughout your life, no matter if it's in high school, if it's past high school, you have to be a good person, okay? I know it doesn't sound important, but it builds connections. It's really important, okay? Scholarship. Success requires more than just motivation. It requires discipline. It is committing yourself to being a lifelong learner. This is really important. Your freshman year, you're gonna say, senior year is so far away, it's okay, like I'm chilling. You cannot slack off at all. Like our advisor said, they look all throughout all 4 years. About your senior year, it's almost impossible to build up your GPA. So you need to stay on top of that, okay? Service. True service means helping others, not just because it looks good, but because it's coming from the goodness of one's heart. And finally, leadership. Leadership addresses putting good character into actions by example. Leadership is having a positive attitude even when circumstances are not going your way. Okay, so I'm going to pass over the mic to Jack, and he's going to talk about the things that we have done.
Here at Woodbridge High School, we're committed to these pillars and we take pride in being positive role models for our community and school. The things we've done this year as an honor society are tutoring Woodbridge High students, participating in our trunk or treat, donating cans of food to the homeless, creating and writing Valentine's cards for veterans in collaboration with the Ross Street National Elementary Honor Society students during a week of kindness. And through Honor Society, yeah, you have to have good grades and you have to have good activities, and it goes on your college resume, but it allows you to be part of something bigger than yourself. It gives you an opportunity to help out your community and help out people who aren't as lucky as us. And I'm happy that I joined because through Honor Society, I got the chance to make our community around me better and allowed me to be more connected with everyone.
Our topic is biological warfare. This is like our introduction to biological warfare. In around 600 BCE, the herb hellebore was used to successfully siege the city of Kira during the First Sacred War. It was like a war around for territories, and they used the hellebore as kind of like a root, which makes people get nauseous and may cause death. Nabos, a Greek doctor, was the first to suggest the use of biological warfare as a biological agent as warfare. And Solon, the legislator of Athens, infected Kira's river, Peloponnese, with the plant root of hellebore, eventually leading his army to victory in the Sea of Kira, because that river was the main source of water for the whole city. The defenders and the army of Kira used the river for drinking water. The hellebore inflicted violent diarrhea on them, which heavily weakened their health.
One of the most recent biological warfare attacks were the 2001 Anthrax attacks. Anthrax is another biological agent and affects the nerves of the body. This resulted in the death of 5 people and 11 more being injured. In 1863, Confederate soldiers during the Civil War showed clothing from smallpox and yellow fever patients, and they knew they were sick, and they showed them to enemy troops in hope of weakening and killing them. In 1650, Polish-Lithuanian artillery general Kominers Simonus fired hollow shells containing the saliva of rabid dogs at the enemies. So it just contained the saliva of rabies, and when they hit them, it was able to kill them already and give them fever.
The most common uses for biological agents is the most common agent in biological warfare is mustard gas or mustard agent, just because of how easy it is to make. Mustard gas is also known for its yellow or brown color as it has. It's like easily detectable. It's like if let's say you're in warfare and like your base kind of turns like a orange or like a brown or yellow color, that kind of signals that the enemy uses mustard gas. And people can be exposed to it by inhaling it, skin contact, and eye contact. People can also eat foods that's contaminated, drinking water that's contaminated, or using or interacting with contaminated clothing.
The least common, hantavirus. Hantavirus is one of, if not the least used chemical agent in biological warfare for its notably hard methods of making its way to people. A hantavirus is transmitted through the dry droppings, urine, or saliva of mice and rats, and this makes it really hard to infect a large number of people as it needs contact or closeness to the transmit itself to another person.
The deadliest, VX is widely considered one of, if not the deadliest chemical due to how little is needed to transmit, and its nerve damaging capabilities. VX is a nerve agent. This means that they are very poisonous, and they function by preventing and fully stopping the nervous system from functioning and sending signals to the body. It's like a kind of like, it could be also a powder. It looks like if you inhale it, it will kind of stop the brain from sending signals to parts of your body. So it just like shuts down your organs. VX has many ways of getting to people. VX can be put into water to contaminate the water, which could harm civilians. VX can also get into you by contact with it in the air, eye contact, or inhaling it. VX only needs around 6 to 10 it's supposed to say milliliters, to get inside the human body and kill the average adult man.
Effect on civilians. So about 100,000 recorded civilians have been killed by biological warfare, and over 1 million more have been injured. And this is only documented cases. Of course, there are many more that haven't been documented. And countries that utilize biological warfare have targeted civilians more often than have targeted soldiers, being feared and inside the city.
There's many ethical arguments on whether countries should or should not use biological warfare. And unfortunately, work in the field of biology, unrelated to the Army, can inadvertently contributes to the invention or production of biological agents that can be used as weapons. Even if you're like studying some biological weapons, governments can use your studies to develop more dangerous biological weapons. And although many people may condemn biological warfare research altogether, much of the research is for finding ways to defend against it. Governments mainly focus on ways to stop biological warfare from spreading, even if a country may use it against them. They're trying to find out ways where that might not happen. While the improvement of our defense system against biological warfare may seem completely utterly positive, it necessarily implies the fact that biological agents are constantly being reworked, developed, and changed to continue to harm. And I think that is it.
Mr. Ward here from Woodbridge High School to talk to you about athletics and health care.
Hello, everybody. Hello. How was lunch? Great?
Yes.
Yeah? Better than what you get at the middle schools? Wow, I'll have to tell them that. They'll be impressed. So how many students we have here going to Woodbridge High School? How many JFK? How many Colonia? Okay, so we almost split a third of each. All right, so what I'm going to talk to you about will pertain to all 3 high schools, okay? So no matter where you're going, everything is pretty much the same, all right? But since we have some future barons here, let me ask this question. Does anybody know what a baron is?
It's that family that used to like own a lot of property in Woodbridge.
Very good. Very good. Are you going to Woodbridge?
Yeah.
Okay. If you told me you're going to JFK Colonia, I'd really be impressed, knowing the history of the Baron. But yes, there was a family here in Woodbridge. Their last name was Barron, and that's where the Woodbridge Barons name comes from. And also, you got the Barron Arts Center here in town. So the name is used in a couple of things. But I like that. I like that we are different, that we're, we don't have your common name as our mascot. Although it leads to a lot of questions during sport events. Some of our opponents will yell out, "What's a baron?" Because they just don't, understand why we would be called that. But I'm very proud of that. All right, so these are the sports that are offered here in high school. And as I said, if you're going to JFK and Colonia, it will be pretty much the same. The fall, all right, you have the sports listed there. All right, in the winter, have all our sports. Could you just go down a little bit? There you go. So see boys wrestling and girls wrestling. Girls wrestling is a sport that's exploding, all right, across the country and here in New Jersey. Right now, the numbers are a little low here in Woodbridge Township, but I think it's going to grow, and there's some towns around us and throughout the state that have high numbers going out for that sport. All right? And then you see the sports we have in the spring as well. And for any of you who are cheerleaders, okay, we have the Spirit Cheer, the cheerleaders that cheer at football games, and then we have Comp Cheer. All right, they go to weekend competitions, and they go to like the state tournament and national tournament as well. All right, can you go to the next slide? Now I'm going to show you, if you're going to participate in any athletics, all right, you do need to have a completed sports physical. All right, I'm just going to run through this real fast. The history form is something that you and your family fill out. All right, so you go through all these questions and you check off yes or no. All right, if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that there's a place at the bottom right that will tell you to give a little description of why you said yes to something. All right, so I know there's a question on this page, another page asks you, do you have a visual impairment? If I am filling this form out, I check off yes, and all you have to do when you write something, you just write, I wear contacts or glasses, okay? It's very simple. And then if we can go down the bottom, this, nope, not a little back. All right, stop there. Over on the left bottom, there's a signature for the athlete, and there's a signature for the parent. Make sure both of them are done. Okay, if we go to the second page of that, all right, this says the athlete with special needs. All right, this throws a lot of people off, and even their doctors will tell you, oh, you don't have any special needs, and they'll put an X through it, okay? This is a form, again, that you and your family fills out. You go through the questions and you check off yes and no, and then if you check off yes, you give a brief explanation. And again, on this form, just like the other form, one of the questions are about visual impairment. So I would check off yes and write that I wear contacts or glasses. So it's very simple. And then you don't have to show it to me, you can go to the next slide, but at the very bottom there's a signature spot for you and your parent as well. We go to page 3, all right, physical examination form. This is for your doctor to fill out, all right, and you got to make sure everything is filled out by your doctor. And if we go down towards the bottom of this page, there is a spot, stop right there, thank you. It says cleared for all sports without restriction. That's what you want to see your doctor check off, and then they sign it at the bottom. And then if we go to the last page, that's the clearance form. All right, again, the doctor fills that out. Hopefully checks off cleared for all sports without restriction. And then at the bottom, there's a place for them to sign, and they also have to stamp it with the stamp from the doctor's office. All right, there's also a part at the bottom that says completed cardiac assessment, professional development module. All right, the doctor needs to sign there too. That's just telling us and the State Department of Education that the doctor that was doing the physical has taken a short professional development video that allows them to do physicals for the Department of Education. All right, and then there's the boxes there for the stamp. All right, but you don't have to have the stamp exactly in the box, just as long as it's there somewhere. All right, but don't wait till the last minute when it comes to going out for sports and get this done. If you know, first day of practice was gonna be tomorrow, you don't wanna be bringing that physical with you on that first day of practice. If you're missing something, we have to tell you have to go back and get that done before you can join the team for practices. And you don't wanna have to sit out and watch. So always make sure to get those sports physicals done well in advance. So this way, if we find something wrong, there's still time to finish that up. Any questions? Okay, I hope everybody here either goes out for a sport or participates in any of the many clubs and activities that we offer. Again, not only here at Woodbridge High School, but all 3 schools. I wish you guys the best of luck, and thank you for having me here today. Take care.
As the mom of 3 high school athletes, I want to tell you, it's the spring before your freshman year. You should be thinking about this now. Right? Talk to your parents, especially if you're interested in a fall sport, because you have to schedule those appointments, right? So you have to make sure you have your physical on time, ready to go. This paperwork's going to be due in early summer because the fall sports actually start up earlier than September, okay? So if you're interested in fall sport, get right on that. If you have any special doctors that you see, so in my family, we have bleeding disorder. So 2 of my kids have to go see a hematologist and a regular pediatrician. So if you have anything like that, not a problem, you can still do sports most likely, but you have to make sure you see those doctors because you'll need an extra letter from that doctor so that you can get your clearance. Okay? If you've not done sports before, there's a lot more offerings in the high schools than in the middle schools, so it might be something that you want to try, and freshman sports are a great time to try those things out. Whether you're motivated by something you like to do physically, or maybe you're motivated by diversifying yourself for college, all great reasons to try something new in high school. So at this time, I'd like to call up Mr. Sinkowitz, who is our social studies supervisor here at Woodbridge High School. Department chair, no, teacher, I'm promoting you. What do I know? I don't know anything. Okay, Mr. Sinkowitz.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Are you guys kidding me? Yeah. How many, raise your hand right now, how many of you guys are 12 years old? You guys 12 years old? All right, we got a couple 12 years old, 12-year-olds up there. How about 13? How many of you guys are 13 years old? In fact, can you hear me all right? If I drop the mic? Yeah. I feel weird talking into a mic. All right, listen. How many of you guys are 14? You got 14-year-olds? All right, anybody 15? We got a grandpa in the audience over here, okay. All right, listen. There is no reason why a group of 12, 13, 14, and 15-year-olds have less passion than I do right now, okay? Look at you guys, all right? You're young. Your life is an open book, all right? You guys are finishing up. How many of you guys are finishing up 8th grade right now? All right, look at all these 8th graders, right? You're gonna have your 8th grade, graduation. You're gonna come to your high school. You're gonna start the whole high school experience, sports, clubs, musical, band, everything that you have to offer. Then, before you know it, blink of an eye, you guys are gonna be at your senior prom. You're gonna be applying to colleges. You're gonna be graduating college. You're gonna be going to college. You're gonna be getting a career. You're gonna be falling in love. You're gonna be getting married. You're gonna be having kids. Your whole life is an open book, right? You know how old I am? I just turned 47 last week. You know what? I did all those things already. You know, the only 2 milestones I have left, you know what they are in my life? Retirement and death. That's it. Okay, that's all I got to look forward to. All right, so let me try this one more time, and I want to hear some passion from this audience. All right, in fact, I'll give you guys something to say. When I say, how you doing? What's up, guys? I want you to say, what's up, Mr. Sink? Because my name is long and Polish, and most of the students here at Woodbridge High School call me by my nickname, which is Mr. Sink. Can you say that? Can you say, what's up, Mr. Sink? That's loud as you can. All right. Ready? When I say what's up. Ready? What's up, guys? What's up? All right, now we're talking. Now I'm talking in front of a live audience here. Okay. All right, listen. I'm going to talk a little bit about the social studies department, okay? Now, some of these courses that I'm going to talk about might not apply if you're going to JFK and Colonia. Most do, though, all right? Most do. You'd have to check with the school, check with the guidance department to ask if certain courses are also available there, but for the most part, they are, okay? So when you guys come to high school, you have 3 required courses, okay, that you have to take over your 4 years, okay? World history is the first, okay? And at the high school, we offer world history on 3 levels, okay? The highest level, you guys are, G&T kids, so you're probably gonna be gravitating towards the highest level, which is AP. All right, do you guys know what AP means?
Advanced placement.
All right, it means advanced placement, but it means a little bit more than that, though, all right, because it's different than just honors, okay? Honors just means it's like the highest level class they can offer in the school. Advanced placement means it's a college level course that's offered throughout the world, and if you reach a certain score on the AP exam that they have in May, all the AP tests happen in May, you have the chance to earn college credit in that course. Okay, if you score, like the AP exams are scored 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so 5s and 4s are usually scores that will, depending on the institution, give you college credit. Okay, all right. Then we have R-Track. All right, R-Track is our, regular college prep level class. Okay, and then there's S-Track classes, which are also college prep, but they move at a slightly slower pace, okay? And probably are a little less rigorous than the R-Tracks and definitely less rigorous than the APs, okay? All right, so the 3 courses that you've got to take before you graduate. World History, which if you go to school from freshman year at Woodbridge, you're gonna have as a 9th grader, okay? Then, the state of New Jersey requires 2 years of U.S. history. All right, so you guys have U.S. 1 and U.S. 2. All right, they split the U.S. history course. And all 3 of those courses, World History, U.S. 1, U.S. 2, they're all available in AP, R, and S track. Okay? Now, the great thing about the Social Studies Department, though, is we have a ton of electives. Okay, a ton of electives. Okay, we have AP electives, all right, like as a sophomore, you can take, obviously, AP US 1, but you could also take AP macroeconomics. That's the study of economic systems on like an international or national level. You could take AP microeconomics, all right, which is the study of individuals within economies and the decisions that they make economically, right? Consumers, producers, that sort of thing. Okay, you can take American government and politics starting as a sophomore, which is a great AP class that talks about government, the political system, and everything related. Okay, when you get to sophomore year, junior year, you have AP US 2, you have AP European history that you can take. I teach that too. You can take AP psychology as a junior or a senior. Okay. I'm thinking, I think that is the extent of the APs that we have. All right, but we have also other great elective courses. All right, we have law and society for people who are interested in, understanding law, maybe possibly getting into the legal profession as a lawyer. Okay, we have sociology, which is the study of different human groups and societies. We have, world cultures that studies the world through like a cultural lens, all right, and looks at different regions of the world, different continents, different countries, okay? We have Facing History in Ourselves, which is a course about genocide, okay, focusing on the Holocaust and other instances of genocide. All right, we have this history of sports. If you're interested in sports, we have a whole course, about the history of sports and athletics. We have African American studies. There is a whole host. We have US 3 that takes you into, the modern day in terms of US. It's a follow-up to US 2. So there's 100 different courses that you could take in the, or at least it feels like there's 100 different courses you can take. Okay, and we also have one, sociology is a C-level course. I think that's the only one that's offered in the Social Studies Department. And C-level courses are offered through Middlesex County College, or Middlesex College as they're now called. And just by passing that course, it's not like APs where you have to pass a test to get college credit. In a C-level course, you sign up, you pay, I think it was $135 this year for 3 credits. And if you pass this course with a certain grade, you get free college credits. But I think sociology is the only course that's offered on the C level. Okay, so that's a little bit about the Social Studies Department, and again, I'm looking forward to seeing, all you barons that are coming here next year. All right, thank you.
That's okay. Hola. Okay, let's do that again. Buenos dias. All right. So, my name is Profe Mills. That's what the students call me. And I am a Spanish teacher here at Woodbridge High School. I have taught Spanish 1, 2, 3, 4, and we also have Spanish AP. I haven't taught that as of yet. It requires a certain certification, and I've been involved with other things that you will hear now, okay? First of all, congratulations to every one of you guys. This is like a really amazing place to be as 8th graders in these really rigorous programs you guys are in. And you have a lot of exciting things happening ahead of you. So congrats on graduating soon. Okay, so American Sign Language. Is anybody here, I'm just curious, had any background, any experience with American Sign Language? You have? Okay, awesome. Are you taking it now or no? Okay. All right, so I'm starting in alphabetical order. So ASL is a program that is part of our world language department that we offer, and we have one teacher that teaches all 4 levels. They're available to anybody that has interest, and they are all R-track level. Okay. Let's see. Okay. At level 4, so I have some of my notes. I don't want to miss anything. You guys heard Mr. Singh earlier about the dual enrollment possibility. So what that is you can take classes, you will be eligible to take classes that can give you dual enrollment, as in high school and college, okay? So what happens is you can earn 3 credits toward college by paying a very small fee while you're in high school of $135, and you can now walk away with having already started to earn credits toward your college experience, wherever that might be, okay? So that's that. So that's available with ASL. They also have the National ASL Honor Society, where it's obviously a great recognition to have. It's something amazing that makes you really stand out in a resume, in your college applications, wherever that might be. If you choose your language and you start from level 1, but you continue showing that rigor, as these now become electives after, level 2, it's only going to help you, okay? All right, that's ASL. Next we move on to Chinese. We have 4 levels of Chinese plus AP, right? That advanced placement that you can take. We offer level 1 in R and S track option, and then moving on, we also have National Chinese Honor Society that you could get part of after level 3, and then you're fully inducted for that level 4, okay? Everybody good so far? Okay. French. There are 3 levels of French, offering level 1 and 2, also R track, S track, and if you decide to, again, stick through level 3, you would be eligible for the National French Honor Society at level 3, and tons of, which I should have said earlier, tons of trips and events that you would partake in being part of these groups and sticking to the world language experiences, okay? And lastly is Spanish. Okay, so for Spanish, there are 4 levels plus AP. I do have to say, Spanish really has the largest volume, and we have 5 teachers in total teaching Spanish at this high school. Now remember that those numbers, these things vary depending on the high school, but that's what's going on here, okay? We have level 1 and 2 also offer an R track and S track, and students are eligible for the Spanish National Honor Society starting level 3, and we too do a ton of trips and special events for our Spanish students as well. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about is a seal of biliteracy. Have you guys heard of the term seal of biliteracy before? Okay. Have you heard of maybe older siblings or?
My mom talks about it.
She does. That's amazing. I love that. I love that we're hearing about it from home, and that your parents are learning about it. This is something really amazing that is happening throughout all our schools. And here it is. So if you are a bilingual student, okay, what does being bilingual mean? Yes. Perfect. You can speak 2 languages, okay? Is anybody trilingual? You have to share it.
Okay, so I speak English, I speak a couple of languages, I speak Canada, I speak
and some Spanish. That counts. That's awesome. Amazing. So it's you guys that we're definitely looking for, but what's more amazing, and this is what you guys need to know, I have been doing this for a few years, and there have been such an amazing amount of students that have really learned and become bilingual in the classroom, okay? So it's assumed you're speaking English, and they have learned a second language in our schools, just starting from the very bottom and moving all the way up, okay? So that's very much possible. I need everybody to know that. It's not just like, because this is the language that I speak at home, because there's other ways of getting you this seal of biliteracy. So in 2016, just like 2 facts about what it is. In 2016, New Jersey became the 17th state to implement the seal of biliteracy, okay? It prepares you for post-secondary success, college or the workforce environment, and it encourages students to maintain those language skills that you have learned if you grew up with a second language at home. Right? All right, so it recognizes linguistic and cultural diversity of New Jersey, and here are some of the requirements. So you have to demonstrate, obviously, proficiency in English, in addition to 1 other world language. The New Jersey Department of Education recognizes the students' personal achievement by granting you a certificate, right? We have a ceremony. It then stays in your transcripts that you'll need, your final grades, and at the end of the day, that's kind of what you need to show for, let's say, college applications. This looks amazing to add to your resume in that regard as well. And so I just want to share a few of the languages, and I actually want to hear, I know you shared with us, but if you guys have any familiarity. So Spanish, Mandarin, French, Hindi, Korean, Russian, Portuguese, Polish, Japanese, Urdu, Yoruba, and ASL. That list is of the languages that I just finished testing students from Woodbridge High School. And I had students in every one of these receive their seal of biliteracy.
So it'll happen as early as your junior year. You could take it junior year, senior year, the assessment. And lastly, you are recognized with a cord to add to your gown on graduation day. And like I said, it's added to your school transcript, and just a wonderful addition to have you guys recognized. And I think that's all I have now. Thank you.
Hope some of you guys will take advantage of that program and earn the seal of bilinguality. At this point, we're going to hear about our English program from Dr. Valenti.
All right, everyone. Hello. I want to start by saying congratulations. I want to commend you for the effort and commitment that you've exhibited throughout your educational career thus far. My name is Dr. Valente, and I'm the Woodbridge Township School District Supervisor of English for grades 6 through 12. And I'm here today to talk to you about English course offerings by the Woodbridge Township School District. All right, so per the state of New Jersey, students must take 20 credits of English throughout high school in order to graduate. All of our English courses adhere to the state learning standards, the student learning standards. Our core English courses are taken in chronological order, but regarding our advanced placement courses, AP Language and Composition, that one's open to juniors and seniors, and it's designed to be taken after English 2 honors. And AP Literature and Composition is open to high school seniors. AP Lang requires an analysis of textual components, including argument, purpose, rhetorical devices, syntax, all culminating in various writing pieces that directly reflect skills from the College Board AP exam. AP Lit teaches students how to learn how to read and comprehend poetry, plays, novels, short stories, and essays written at various times throughout various cultures, with an emphasis on literature originally written in English. Both of these AP courses have been designed to prepare students to succeed on the respective AP exams. So in addition to those core courses, we also offer several English electives. So just to highlight a few, Creative Writing 1 is a course designed to provide writers with a strong foundation in various genres of writing, while also developing an understanding of writing craft. Creative Writing 2, this is an independent study course in which students select and explore a genre through both a research project as well as through the writing and editing process. Comparative Mythology is a course that strives to give students a better understanding of the impact that mythology has had on many of the contemporary forms of media. And Literature and Film requires students to evaluate literature and media as art, as well as reinforces critical writing and analytical skills taught in any core English class. So in 11th grade, you will take the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment, or the NJGPA. In order to graduate, you'll have to score higher at equal to or greater than a 725 in both English and math, respectively. And if you don't meet these scores, there are additional pathways to graduation. Here's a list of contacts at each of the high schools. So depending on what high school you're going to, you could reach out to the department chair at your school with any questions specifically related to the English courses that we offer here in the Woodbridge Township School District. Your guidance counselor will also be able to guide you through the process of selecting courses. I want to thank you guys for your time, and I want to wish you good luck as you enter this next chapter of your educational careers. My contact information is on these slides as well, which I will give to Mrs. Vreeland to put into the Google Classroom. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me, myself, or any of the English department chairs at any of the respective high schools with any questions you have about courses, scheduling, pathways to graduation, state testing, etc.
Now, I know you all have been receiving a lot of information from different people, and I want to remind you that you can always call the G&T office if you have a question, because I can direct you to the right person. So if you don't remember where to find Dr. Valenti's email address or one of the department supervisors, I can always help you with that. So we're kind of a one-stop shop in the G&T office. At this time, I'd like to continue with our presentation. So Colonia Middle School students are presenting on illusions. You can come on up. And it's Angela, Angelica, Olivia, and Millica.
Good morning. My name is Angela. This is Angelica. And then that's Milka, and that's Olivia. And this is our presentation. What are illusions? Illusions are delusive perceptions. They are misinterpretations of the brain gathered from our senses. There are four main types of illusions: tactile, visual, optical, and auditory, which deal with three main senses of sight, hearing, and touch. So why do we experience these illusions, and what's the difference between perception and reality? Well, we experience these illusions because sometimes our brain has to fill in the missing gaps based on the information that our senses receive. And sometimes that information is confusing or misleading, leading to these illusions. Perception is our view on reality, while reality is the plain truth. There is no bias, and it's the actual form of our surroundings. And perception plays a role in visual illusions. Visual illusions are based off of your sense of sight and perception and are created by the brain. So if we take a look at this visual illusion, this is the duck/rabbit illusion, which is an ambiguous image. Ambiguous meaning double meaning, because there are two images in this one illusion. So some people may see a duck, while others may see a rabbit. And not everyone sees it the same way. This is because of your perception. And your perception can vary from person to person based off of your cultural backgrounds, your beliefs, your attitude, or if you've seen this illusion before. Now, if we double this image, at first glance, many people would see either a duck and a duck or a rabbit and a rabbit. But how can you see both of them, a duck and a rabbit? Well, you could do this by putting the image into context. So if you take a look at your right, we'll just say that the right one is the duck and the left is the bunny. You can visualize that the duck is talking to the bunny or the duck is going to eat the bunny. So just say that this is the duck's beak, and then on the left side, that's the bunny's nose and that's the bunny's ears. So you could do this to visualize both of the images at once. This is another visual illusion. It's called the sunray illusion. Now, it might not work as well since it's on the projector, but when seen, there should be like bright white rays coming from the center. But those rays aren't actually there. It's created by our brain, and this is because of the many intersection points and because of how well aligned the image is. Now, it's the same thing if the image is inverted. So this time, it's not so clear here because of the projector and the resolution, but there are black rays coming from the center, and this is because of the same reasons. Okay, now we're going to talk about optical illusions. Optical illusions and visual illusions both deal with the same sense of sight, however, they are not interchangeable. Optical illusions comes from the word optics, which means light. So they trick our brains by bending light. Now this is called a negative illusion, where you're first going to stare at that X in the middle of the screen, and it's going to show a beach image in inverted colors. And it won't work if you blink. So if you did it correctly, you should have saw the beach in its regular colors. However, the second image that you saw is just a black image. This is due to the negative retinal afterimage effect, or when you stare at that certain point of the screen long enough, then you'll see its regular colors in a black and white image. Now I'm going to talk about mirages. Mirages are like a real-life optical illusion that are most commonly found in deserts. So it happens when the sun beats on the sand then heats the air above it. That now hot air bends light, creating a reflection on the sky. So obviously you can't have a lake in the middle of a desert. However, it looks like there's a lake, but it's not, because it's an optical illusion. And all of these can be very deceiving.
Speaking of deceiving, can we really trust our ears? Our ears, usually when we hear things out of context.
However, when that context is misled or tricked, it can trick our brain to hear different things. This type of deceiving audios are called audio illusions. There are two main examples of audio illusions that I'll be speaking about today. One of them is called the McGurk effect. The McGurk effect is when your visual context, it tricks your audio context. For example, I'm going to play two audios and you guys are going to move your eyes from one audio to the next audio and see if you hear different words. The next one. Yeah. It's the next slide.
Ba, 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 ba.
Chances are, when you move your eyes from that video to that video, you heard the word ba and fa. But what if I told you these two audios are saying the exact same thing? You are hearing two different words, all due to the McGurk effect. When his mouth was shaped as the word B, your brain immediately thought that he was saying the word ba. But when his mouth was shaped more like an F sound, you could hear the word fa. Another example of an auditory illusion is the Yanny and Laurel. After this, you guys are going to hear the Yanny and Laurel, and you guys are going to tell me what you hear.
What?
Yeah. 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 So chances are you heard the word Laurel. This audio illusion is when two audios are laid on top of each other with similar sound waves, creating different types of words. So, which one is it, Yanny or Laurel? The correct word is the word Laurel, but you might hear the word Yanny because of the higher frequencies. You can hear the word Yanny usually if you are younger because you have a tendency to hear higher frequencies. For example, the word Yanny is above 4,500 hertz. So if you are younger, you hear higher frequencies and hear the word Yanny. Also, the word depends on the resolution and if your device is able to pick up on those. And all in all, our brain is confusing and amazing and can create many different illusions. So our last and final type of illusion is called tactile illusions. These are misperceptions of incomplete information gathered by our touch receptors. One popular example of tactile illusion is Aristotle illusion. Aristotle is a Greek philosopher who studies these types of things. So you can try this in your seat. Like, what you have to do is you have to cross your two fingers and rub them on the tip of your nose. If you do this correctly for long enough, it should feel as if you are feeling two completely different objects, when in reality, you're only touching one information. Another huge factor that comes into play with tactile illusions is called the placebo effect. This is when the person's mindset affects the result of the illusion. So if you have a positive mindset going into the illusion, believing it's going to work, it is more likely to occur than if you have a negative mindset going into the illusion and you do not believe it's going to work. One popular example of this type of illusion is called rubber hand illusion. This is when two hands are placed on a table with a rubber hand and a border between the rubber hand and one real hand. And what the person is going to do is they're going to use the same techniques on both the rubber hand and the hidden real hand until the brain is tricked into believing that the rubber hand is the real hand. By the end of this illusion, the person will admit that they do feel some sort of sensation in their hand, even though they're actually not being touched. This can also occur in people who don't even have that limb, and this is referred to as the ghost limb.
Thanks for watching.
So my comedy is like mental health, and my name is Ari. So first we're going to talk about what mental health is. Mental health enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities to learn well and work well, and contribute to their community. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Mental health can also control the way that we think, feel, and behave. Next, we're going to be talking about anxiety. Anxiety is the feeling of dread, fear, and uneasiness. Anxiety is you often feel like a depressed mood or a loss of pleasure in activities. It's not just getting bored of something and saying, oh, I have anxiety. Anxiety is like for something that, say, if you used to if you used to love soccer so much and all of a sudden you just hate it, that's what anxiety is, and you don't know the reason for it. So some symptoms that come with anxiety are excessive anxiety and worriness. So you always have something that's on your mind and your head's always hurting. Another thing is impaired concentration. So it's really hard to concentrate on something at once. And irritability, things always bother you and you can't control it. And a lot of people that have anxiety have a really hard time sleeping, and a lot of people take sleeping pills. Something that comes really big with anxiety are panic attacks. So panic attacks, things can trigger panic attacks. So for example, if something triggered your panic attack, you might avoid the situation and run away from it. So a panic attack feels like your leg starts to shake, your heart feels really heavy, and you feel like you can't breathe. That's what a panic attack feels like. It feels like you're having a heart attack and you feel like you're about to die. That's what a panic attack feels like. Next, we're going to be talking about PTSD. PTSD starts with a big traumatic event that it's really hard to live after you have a really big traumatic event. So for example, say when you were really young and you got into a car accident with your family, you might get PTSD after that because people could have gotten hurt and you might have been traumatized from it. So with PTSD, things can trigger your PTSD. For example, because you were in a car accident, something that can trigger it is cars or really loud sounds. So that's what PTSD is. Some risks that come with PTSD is lack of support. So a lot of people that have PTSD, they usually lose a lot of close people that they're friends with, and it's really hard to keep relationships with people. Previous trauma. So especially if you have previous trauma from PTSD, all of it comes back little by little, and existing mental health conditions. So one thing about mental health is that if you already have one and another one comes, it just continues to stack, and the more that you have, the more harder it is to live with it, and life stresses. So that just means it's really hard to earn money and have a relationship with people when you have PTSD. And a lot of people that have PTSD go to therapy and talk to somebody about it. So depression. Depression is very big, and it actually is the #1 mental health condition. Depression is some things that can cause depression is genetics, brain chemistry, poor nutrition. So a lot of people that have depression, they often think about do I deserve this? Should I do this? So that's why a lot of them have poor nutrition, because they don't feel like that they deserve to eat. And a lot of people that have depression take antidepressants. And some symptoms that you might get if you have depression is a low mood, changes in appetite, it might be really hard to sleep, and agitation, so a lot of stuff really bothers you a lot.
Next is BPD. BPD stands for borderline personality disorder. BPD is the ability to manage your emotions, and it can cause impulsivity, and it changes the way that you think about yourself. The 4 types of BPDs that I'm going to be talking about is petulant, impulse, self-destructive, and discouraged. Petulant is unpredictable mood swings, passive aggressiveness, and a need to feel in control. So if you're petulant and you have BPD, so you have mood changes, and they're not just normal mood swings, like you go from happy to being sad to being mad, and you never know the reason why, and this is for a really long time. And it's really hard to control it, and a lot of people that have BPD take medicine, like depressant. Impulse. Impulse is being risky and aggressive behavior. So if you have BPD and your impulsivity comes out, it's really hard to control it because you might do a lot of bad things. Self-destructive is partaking in self-harming and abusive behavior. So people that have BPD and have families, it's really hard for them because sometimes the self-destructive part of them come out and it's not very great for the family. Discouraged. All your fears of abandonment, neediness, and emotional mood swings. So that's like, again, from going happy to being mad and not knowing the reason why, and all your fears come back to you. Next is data and stats. 26% of the American population is diagnosed with mental health disorders. Percentage of youth aged from 12 to 17 with major depression is 51.1%. 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental health illnesses each year. Depression is the #1 mental health illness that is diagnosed, and 50% of all mental illnesses begin at the age of 14 and 75% by the age of 24. Some more data and stats are in 2019, 970 million people globally were living with at least one mental health disorder, with depression and anxiety the most common. U.S. age from 6 to 17 experience a mental health disorder each year. 50% of all lifetime mental illnesses begin by the age of 14 and 75% by the age 24. And suicide is the second leading cause of death by the death among age from 10 to 14. And a lot of people that have suicide, it all starts with mental health condition. That's all.
So at this time, we'd like to invite Mr. Atsby, our science supervisor, to come and talk about the science programs available to you at the high school.
All right, let's give another round of applause for those two presentations. Thank you, and a special thank you to the audience for paying attention the whole time, keeping quiet, because it does take a lot to go up there and make a presentation, especially doing it by yourself. So it's fantastic that the audience was so receptive, paying attention the entire time, and I expect to see that for the rest of this presentation. So anyway, my name is Mr. Axby. I am the district science supervisor. Formerly, I was the department chairperson for science and social studies at Colonia High School. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to hit me up on that. I just want to give you a quick overview on the science opportunities that we have. I know a lot of you have a science background. By show of hands, anyone presenting at SETS at the end of the year, the Science and Engineering and Technology Symposium? Maybe you're working on a poster project. See a couple hands.
Yeah, put your hands up. Yeah.
A couple hands hesitantly going up because you might not be sure right now. That's okay, good. So I will see you later on in the year with that. Some of you are making presentations at that point too. Yeah, that's interesting. It's right there. Anyway, so for science. Some of the other presentations, they talked about requirements. So I'll hit those up real quick. In order to graduate high school, you need to take biology. You have to pass biology. That's the assumed thing there. We're passing biology. Then you're going to pass either environmental science, chemistry, or physics. And then you have to pass another lab science. All of the sciences we offer are lab sciences, so they can all take that third requirement. Now, I expect as being gifted and talented coming from that program and maybe continuing it on with that in the high school, that you will take a 4th year. The good thing about Woodbridge Township is we have a lot of opportunities for students. So I just want to highlight a few things. You know, you have your basics, your biology, chemistry, physics, your anatomy, we have forensics, integrated science, meteorology, we have a bunch, but I do want to highlight a few of them. I want to talk about our engineering program. So our engineering program is a 3-year program that students can take. They go in their sophomore year, then junior and senior year. If you have an interest in going to be an engineer, any of the fields of engineering, I highly recommend you take those classes. Those will count as one of your electives. Depending on which school you're at, you may have the opportunity to get college credits. As it was explained before, we do have some partnerships with Middlesex County. Middlesex College. It's not Middlesex County College anymore. Middlesex College. So in order to get college credits for that. So that is really going to depend on the school, and it's going to depend on the teacher. They do have some requirements, the college itself, of what the teacher has to have, so that's going to depend on which school you're going to go to. We also have our science research classes, science research 1 all the way through 4, so you can go with that as a freshman course. That is held at Woodbridge High School and at Colonia High School. Students compete around the state. We just had competition this past weekend. Students, they win monetary things, so does anybody here like money? Money? Yeah, I like money too. So someone won $2,000 this weekend, so that's pretty awesome. But we do our own research. We do our own research in-house, so if that is something that interests you, I highly recommend you pursue that and talk to your counselor about that. All right, and that's my thing about science. Thank you very much.
Great, I know a lot of you are interested in engineering and other science areas. So again, if you forget who told you about this stuff, call the G&T office. I will get you in touch with Mr. Otsby, and you can ask any questions, or one of the department chairs at the high schools. So for mathematics, our supervisor is Mr. Callahan, and I know he is very happy to speak with any of you with your questions about mathematics. He's not able to be here today because he had another engagement, so we have Mrs. Toronto from Woodbridge High School here today.
Hello everyone, I'm Ms. Toronto. I'm the math department head here at Woodbridge High School. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of you who are coming here. I used to work at JFK. I was there for about 8 years, and I've been here for 8 years. So I'm familiar with both schools, not as much as Colonia, but I'm very excited to see all of you, and I'm proud of you for being here. The first thing I just wanted to mention is that in order to graduate, the state of New Jersey requires that you do take 3 years of math. Algebra 1 and geometry are required, so you do need those 2 courses, and then you need a course that builds upon Algebra 1 and geometry. Most students take Algebra 2 as their 3rd course. Now, how many of you are in Algebra 1 right now? Great. So your path might look a little bit different. So most students take Algebra 1 as a freshman. If you've already had Algebra 1, you're in it right now, you're going to come into high school taking geometry as a freshman. We offer geometry honors, we offer R-Track and S-Track. So those courses were mentioned prior. They are different tracks available here. So after you take geometry your freshman year, sophomore year, you can take Algebra 2. Now, depending on how well you do in math or how far you want to go with math, you might want to double up. So those of you thinking, I know it's a little far away, but thinking you want to take several years of calculus or you want to get to Calc 3, you might double up your sophomore year. So you can take Algebra 2 and Pre-Calc your sophomore year if you choose. Then junior year, you can take calculus. We offer AB and BC, which are both AP level classes, which is Calc 1 and Calc 2. Then senior year, you can go even further and take Calc 3. We have other options. We have statistics. We have several computer science classes. There's a lot available. And maybe right now, if you're in Algebra 1, it might be hard to predict how far you want to go with math. And usually you'll see down the road how the courses are going, what else you are interested in. So the AP courses that we have for math are AP Calc AB, which is Calc 1, AP Calc BC, which is Calc 2. So you would take AB before BC. Usually one is taught in the fall and the other is taught in the spring. And then we also offer AP Statistics as well. Now the computer science courses, which I mentioned before, you can double up with these, take them with your math classes as well. The second course up there, AP Computer Science Principles, is actually a course that you really don't need a lot of knowledge going into it about computer science. A lot of that is more knowing how the computer works versus the other computer science class, which is Computer Science A, which is the programming, which is using Java to create programs. Some of you might be familiar with this now. So there's two different computer science classes available that are AP. You can take both of them if you're interested. We do offer, besides the higher level classes, we have a lot of electives as well. If you don't want to take an AP Calculus, we have a Calculus C course. That's one of the classes I actually teach here. You can get Middlesex credit for that class. I know a lot of people have mentioned this already. So that's a great option if you're not maybe thinking about taking the AP test or you're a little bit nervous about that. You can take Calc C. You can get Middlesex College credit for that course. We also offer an Intro to Computer Science course. If you're not ready for that AP class or you want to take it first to see if you're interested, that's an honors level class, which is a great course to take. We have an SAT math course. Juniors take that course to prepare for the SAT. Math for Life is more geared to seniors to prepare you for real life math skills, whether it's balancing a checkbook, stock market, maybe buying a car, things like that. And we also offer Statistics C. That's another one of our dual enrollment classes if you're not wanting to take the AP course. Another course that's not up here that we do offer is college algebra at all the schools. It's similar to pre-calc. It's a great class that I know I said in the beginning you need 3 math classes. I recommend you and all students to take 4 years of math. If you are planning on going to college, it's great to have that class senior year to prepare you maybe for an entrance exam or just get you ready for school. So college algebra, a lot of students take that if they don't want to take an AP course or they don't want to take calculus, just to keep math fresh. The graduation requirement, Dr. Valente mentioned, so I'm not going to go back over that, but you will take the NJGPA junior year, and you can see on here, it might be a little bit hard for you to read from here, but the alternate pathways are also up here in the event you did not meet the passing score on the NJGPA, okay? Like I said, I'm Ms. Toronto. I'm the math department head here, but if you have any questions, you can also reach out to Mr. Callahan. He's the supervisor. He can help you with anything that you need. Good luck to all of you. Congratulations, and thank you.
Okay, so I know some of you are interested in math or interested in careers that are going to require a lot of math. We've got some good information there. Again, I can always get you in touch with Mr. Callahan or Mrs. Toronto if you're coming here, or one of the department heads at the other high schools. I'm going to give you a little more mom advice because I have a son who is a senior in high school now and looking at colleges, interested in business, and then I have another son who's a sophomore and looking at going into architecture, both of which require calculus. So think about, you may not know and you may decide when you're in college, but if you have some thought about what you want to do, take a look at what the requirements are both before you leave high school, what they want you to have done before high school, which is often up to pre-calculus, and what they're going to require your first year. And here's very specific New Jersey advice, because some of you might end up at Rutgers, and here's what I've learned about calculus at Rutgers. The students will say either, oh yeah, I failed calculus the first time, I had to take it again. Okay, now that might not apply to some of you. Some of you are going to do algebra before you leave high school. Others, maybe you want to go into an area that requires calculus, but maybe math, high levels of math are not your main thing. So think about that. What some students do is they take calculus at Middlesex before they go to a college like Rutgers. And Rutgers has this reputation for very hard calculus classes. I don't know that every school is like that, but it is something to think about. And getting that college level calculus class in high school might be the way to go, because high school has a lot more support to get you through calculus. So that's something to think about, because if you have a college credit and Middlesex is putting calculus on your transcript, that, like for example, my son who's going into architecture, that's all he needs, right? So that's on the transcript, he doesn't have to worry about. Same thing with my son who's going into business, he just needs to get up through calculus. He didn't do that, so now he's looking at, well, maybe I should take calculus at Middlesex before my freshman year of college and just get it out of the way. So some things that you, as going as freshmen in high school, can think about now and how you want to structure your math classes for the best results by the time you leave high school.
Hello. Today you'll be introduced into the world of fungi. My name is Rafaela. This is Judy. The one in yellow is Isabella, and the one in green is Risha.
So, what do you all know about fungi? I bet you just think it's all about mushrooms and stuff, but fungi's a lot more than that.
Well, fungi aren't exactly easy to define, since some are parasitic while others are poisonous, some are medicinal, and some can give you diseases. However, they all have two things in common. They're decomposers and they produce spores when they reproduce. However, there is a simple definition for fungi. Fungi are a very, very, very diverse type of eukaryotic organism that reproduces via spores and feeds off of decaying matter. In fact, there's over 3.8 million species of fungi somewhere out there in the world, with over 90% of them being unknown.
So we're going to be just discussing the different types of fungi. There's about 6 types, all spread across 5 phyla, which is basically just a greater form of classification. So we're going to start off with 2 plant diseases from the phylum of Basidiomycotas, rusts and smuts. So rusts are parasitic fungi that coexist with plants growing on the aerial portions, like the leaf, stem, and fruit. And they're little pustules that are in the rusty kind of color, like yellow, red, and maybe a dingy orange. And they usually stunt plant growth. And then we have smuts down below here, and they're a parasitic fungi that grows on grasses like corn, wheat, and sugarcane. And they're in suit-like masses called sori. So what happens is the little sori are in the plant before it is fully grown as a parasite. And then when the plant is fully grown, they burst out, killing the plant. And don't worry, both of these diseases can be treated with fungicides. So next we have molds and mildews. So mildews are from the phylum of Ascomycota and molds from Zygomycota, though I think some of them are from Ascomycota as well. So mildews are thread-like clumps of hyphae, which are vegetative filaments, and they're usually associated with damp cloth, fibers, and leather, and they have very minimal effects on the human body. So they're not one to worry about, like molds. So molds are very large masses of mycelium or vegetative filaments, and they're usually associated with rotten food and several plant diseases, many which can affect humans. So then we have yeasts. So they are from the phyla of Ascomycota and Basidiomycota. So they are usually found in soils and plant surfaces like fruits and nectars, and they are very small. So they're only about 3/1000 of an inch, and they are usually used in the process of fermentation. So has anyone ever used like yeast in bread dough or pizza dough or anything like that? Yeah? So yeast feeds on the bread dough, releasing carbon dioxide, which in turn allows the bread to rise. And in alcoholic drinks, the yeast turns sugar into liquor. So last, but definitely not least, we have mushrooms, an umbrella-shaped organism typically in the phylum of Basidiomycota, but also has other categories, and they are typically called sporophores.
Actually, sporophores is used to encompass all mushrooms, but technically, poisonous mushrooms are called toadstools, and the edible ones are called mushrooms.
So there's no really way to differentiate between the poisonous and the edible ones, which causes many accidental mispoisonings. So we'll just refer to them as mushrooms for the rest of the report and not toadstools. So mushrooms don't really have that like high levels of cholesterol, and they provide like small amounts of amino acids and vitamin E. And commercially grown mushrooms are only about 90% water. Also, fun fact, fungi is more closely related to animals than plants. And it's been found that chitin, material found in insect skeletons, makes up fungi cell walls.
Next we have poisonous mushrooms. There are 100 species of poisonous mushrooms, but only 15 to 20 are actually extremely lethal when consumed. There is the false chanterelle, which bears an uncanny resemblance to the edible chanterelle. And there is the fool's mushroom, which also bears a striking resemblance to the edible honey fungus. Both of these factors cause many mispoisonings. There is the deadliest mushroom known to mankind called the death cap, and it is native to the British Isles and considered invasive everywhere else where it can be found. When consumed, it causes stomach pain, nausea, and vomiting. And because these are symptoms of many other illnesses, this causes mushroom poisonings to be misdiagnosed. There is the destroying angel mushroom, which is that one over there, all the way in the corner. It is found in forests during wet seasons in America and Mexico. And there is also the autumn skullcap, which can be found in Europe and North America, and it grows on decaying chanterelle logs.
Okay, so now we have medicinal fungi. The first mushroom is called the mushroom. It's a mushroom of the mythology, and it grows, it's not massive hyphae, and it's critically acclaimed in the West for two impacts. And it also grows in Asia and Siberia, and it's known for boosting your immune system and overall just your general health. It grows on birch bark in cold climates, and another benefit is that it helps fight cancer and lower cholesterol levels. The next mushroom is parasites. There are parasitic fungus that grows on a lot of insects. Some benefits are that it treats fatigue, sickness, and even kidney disease. They're very traditionally used in Chinese medicine, and they're known as adaptogens, which means they help your body adapt to any type of stress that you get under. Fun fact, parasites come from the word head, and they help you, they're not commonly found in the wild, so it's a relatively expensive fungi. Last but not least is red reishi. It has many names, including lazy, 10,000 years of sponge, queen of plants, the mortal sponge, and life elixir. All of these names pertain to life, so some benefits are that it boosts your immune system, helps heal inflammation, and counts your white blood cells, which help to alleviate stress.
Okay, so we've discussed that fungi is a very diverse organism, able to thrive in like several environments and biomes. So did you know that there's marine fungi? Yes, underwater. So most fungi underwater is like microfungi, yeasts or zoospore groups from the phylum of Chytridiomycota, but there is one exception. Has anyone ever heard of lichens? You may have seen them grow on trees, maybe. So there's also lichens that grow on sea rocks. So does anyone know what a symbiotic relationship is? Well, it's basically when two organisms basically are in kind of like a relationship where they both benefit each other. So a lichen is a symbiotic relationship between fungi and algae. So what happens is fungi can't produce its own food, right? It decomposes dead matter. And on the other hand, algae can because of the process of photosynthesis. So what happens is fungi and algae, they kind of have this pact, right? So the algae gives fungi food, and the fungi kind of provides place for the algae to kind of live on. So they're usually found on rocky seashores, submerged completely during high tide, and they just get all the nutrients, water, and it's a very apt place for sunlight.
All right, so now we're going to be talking about the life cycle of a fungi. So fungi can reproduce in two ways, asexually and sexually. However, we will be talking and describing the life cycle of a fungi as it reproduces asexually, since that is what happens in most cases. So first of all, a mature and adult fungi reaching the end of its lifetime will release spores. You can think of these spores kind of like seeds. They will release them out in the world, and then the spores enter spore germination, which allows the spore to turn into a vulva. And now you can think of the vulva as kind of like an egg with a baby mushroom growing inside, ready to sprout. The vulva will find somewhere in the ground, like mycelium or some kind of decaying matter, to settle itself into and grow its roots, to ensure and establish a connection to nutrients. After that's done, the baby mushroom starts to sprout out of the vulva and grow into a mature fungi until it restarts the process all over again.
Okay, so to conclude, fungi is a very diverse category of organism, and there's so much to learn about fungi. It's really, really diverse. We just hope that you learned something about our presentation.
Thank you for giving us your attention for this short period of time. Like my friend said, I really do hope that you guys learned something from this presentation.
We're so grateful for having the opportunity to come speak to you guys today.
Hey guys, we're representing Miss Sweeney's 8th grade class, and my name's Nikita. This is Yoshida here, this is Viha, and this is Dia. And today we want to talk about the mind unveiled and psychological phenomena.
So psychological phenomena refer to experiences, behaviors, and mental processes that occur in the human mind. These phenomena may affect things like perception, memory, consciousness, emotions, and reasoning. We humans have only explored about 10% of the brain's total potential, and there's still so much more yet to be understood. This is the mind unveiled.
So next we have deja vu, which is arguably one of the most famous and well-known psychological phenomena we're going to talk today. So you guys might have heard deja vu. There's like a song called Deja Vu by Olivia Rodrigo, but I will not be singing that today because I want to save your ears. So deja vu is a French loan word for experiencing a situation before. So it's basically when false memories occur due to a misfiring memory circuit. In other words, like you might go to like a place and you might feel like it's a familiar, but you never went there. That's like deja vu. It also happens most commonly through the ages of 15 to 25, and research shows that age range is the most stressful.
Next is the Mandela effect. It's when a group of people believe a false memory simultaneously that never took place. So many people experience the Mandela effect through logos, and these are just a few examples. For instance, many people, when they were younger, watched Curious George, and many people believed to remember him with the tail, when in fact he did not have the tail at all. The origin of the Mandela effect comes from an event where paranormal researcher Fiona Green and a group of people thought to believe that Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, had passed away, when in fact he had not.
Okay, and then moving on, we have the placebo effect, which is a phenomenon where a person experiences a perceived improvement in their medical condition after taking a dummy drug. This is extremely common in clinical studies, and it's important to note that there are different types of the placebo effect. For instance, we have the inactive and active placebos. Inactive means there's no direct effect on the person, while active placebos have a direct effect. Closed-label placebos basically say that the person that it's being administered to doesn't know about it, while open label means they're explicitly told about it. Positive placebos have positive and beneficial functions such as improving brain functions, while negative placebos, known as nocebos, are bad for you. So As shown as in the above image, a placebo shrinks and decreases brain responses and activity in certain pain-sensitive areas, such as the anterior insula and thalamus and the anterior cingulate cortex. This is showing that they think there's an improvement in their medical condition when in fact they're just believing that to make themselves feel better.
Next, we'll discuss the butterfly effect, which is a part of the chaos theory. The term butterfly effect describes when a small change or event can either not affect or completely change the trajectory of events that transpire in the future. It was first observed by Professor Edward Lorenz in the 1960s at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, more commonly known as MIT. And a famous and arguably one of the best examples in history would be a small vacation that led up to World War II. For example, there was an Austrian archduke named Ferdinand and his wife Sophie who went on vacation in the name of business when they were really just trying to get away from their duties. So, as soon as they arrived in the country of Bosnia, a Serbian nationalist shot and killed them both. Austria declared an apology from Serbia, but Serbia rejected their offer. So Austria declared war on Serbia. Then Russia declared war on Austria, Germany declared war on Russia, and France and Britain declared war on Germany. This all led to World War II, which eventually led up to World War II. So it could be said that a simple vacation caused all this chaos. It is a prime example of the butterfly effect in its action. The butterfly effect's name came to be because a scientist found that the flap of a small butterfly's wings can create a massive tornado on the other side of the world. A famous quote is that small shifts in your thinking and small changes in your energy can lead to massive alterations of your end result.
Finally, we have extrasensory perception. So extrasensory perception, also known as ESP, is basically the idea of getting information through the mind. So there are several types of ESP, including telekinesis, telepathy, clairvoyance, and pre-recognition. So let's start off with telekinesis. So telekinesis is the mastery of moving moving objects of one's mind. So an example of telekinesis is, if you guys are fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you would know Wanda Maximoff has telekinesis. Next, we have telepathy. It's often confused with telekinesis due to the kind of similar names. But it's when someone transmits thoughts, feelings, or information through their minds. Next, we have clairvoyance. It's basically the ability to gain information about a location, subject, or object with no logical explanation. And pre-recognition, finally, is the power to see the future. So obviously, this is not scientifically proven, but there are a lot of people around the world who believe that this exists.
Moving on, we have the zero position effect, which refers to the tendency of a person to remember the first and last items in a list better than the ones in the middle. It's a form of a cognitive bias, and this effect is commonly observed in situations where a person is asked to recall a list. For example, if you're going to the grocery store and you have to memorize a grocery list, this is where the zero position effect plays a role. The items in the beginning of the list are referred to as the primacy effect, while the items at the end of the list are called the recency effect. This image shows that the items at the end and the beginning are better remembered than the ones in the middle, which are known as the intermediate.
Finally, we have frequency illusion, also known as the Madalena phenomenon. It's a cognitive bias that shows its effects on the way we process information. For instance, if you saw an ad about a shoe, you might notice more people wearing that shoe after watching that certain commercial. In summary, frequency illusion is something that seems to occur more often after learning about it. This is due to our brains beginning to seek out more information about that certain thing, leading it to become more ubiquitous. Thank you.
Thank you.
You heard some of this mentioned by the other supervisors. So throughout the district, we have about 25 advanced placement classes offered. And I know that you understand they are high-level courses. So the thing about advanced placement courses is you have to take the whole course, you get a high school grade for that, and at the end, in May, you'll take an advanced placement exam. Okay? You can take the course without taking the exam, but you know, if you're doing all the work, might as well try your best and do the exam. So most people do, right? And then you'll get a score on the exam from 1 to 5. Scores of 4 and 5 are almost always accepted by the colleges. Scores of 3 are often accepted, so it depends what college you're going to. But whether or not you get college credit depends on how you do on the exam and what college you're going to and what scores they accept. Okay. The alternative is college level courses, which are offered in some of the same subjects, or different ones, okay, where you can get college credit just for taking the class. So you take the class, you have to pass the class. The grade that you get in the class is the grade that goes on a college transcript. It might be Middlesex, it could be Syracuse University, we offer a few different ones. But that grade is basically a grade in a college class you earn while you're in high school. They all have some cost involved with them. The school district will pay for your first AP exam, okay? Beyond that, other AP exams, they're like $95, something like that. There are some discounts, but you would pay for the other AP exams. With the college level courses, you pay for the credits, but it's greatly reduced. Like they said, it might be $135 for 3 credits. That's probably less than a third of what you would pay for a regular course if you went to the college to take it, right? So they give you a major discount to take those college level courses in school while you're still in high school. If you get a B in the course, you get a B on your college transcript, okay? So it's, I guess you have to think about the way that you learn and the way that you are assessed. If you're a great test taker, maybe you want to load up on the AP courses, you know, expecting that you're going to get high scores on the AP exam and they'll be accepted by the colleges. If you'd love to learn these things and you do well in class, but tests and so, you might want to take a college level course, or a dual enrollment course is another name for it. If you have the opportunity. You know, it depends what's offered. So both of these classes are offered in various different subjects, and when you meet with your counselors to plan your schedule, you should think about which courses are best for you. You might not always have the choice, but if you do, it's good to be informed about what those choices are. Any questions? Okay. So we have one more presentation today, and then we'll finish off with the rest of our iMovies.
Hi, my name is Jillian.
I'm Isla.
And I'm Olivia. And our presentation is Under the Sea, which is, in other words, the ocean. So the ocean is a large area of water that makes up more than 70% of our Earth. And there are many things that go into the ocean, including marine animals, where Liv will start talking about.
So there are 6 different groups of sea animals: fish, crustaceans, mammals, reptiles, sharks and rays, and invertebrates. There are fish are cold-blooded vertebrates, and there are over 34,000 species. As we all know, they can breathe underwater, which they have gills that they use. So gills basically are underwater lungs, and they extract oxygen from the water. Crustaceans, like crabs, lobsters, and shrimp, also use gills, but they're modified so they can breathe underwater and on land. Sea mammals are like land mammals, so they are warm-blooded, they have lungs, and they breathe air. So they come up periodically to the surface to breathe air, and then they store that air in their bodies so they can stay underwater longer. Sea reptiles like sea turtles, sea snakes, and crocodiles have scales of keratin and they lay eggs. Sharks have skeletons made of cartilage and they have rough gray skin, and they use thousands of teeth to prey on their food, which includes other marine animals and sometimes humans, but it's not like food. And then rays are actually related to sharks, so they have flat bodies and they can protect themselves with their long venomous tail called a barb. The last group of marine animals is invertebrates, which are any animal that lack a vertebral column, like mollusks and corals. They provide a nice environment and lots of food for many marine animals.
So, as you go deeper in the ocean, you feel like you are being crushed, and that's because there's more water above you being pulled down by gravity, which is pushing down on you. So, water pressure is measured in PSI, which stands for pounds per square inch. But it can also be measured in atmospheres, which is equal to around 15 psi. The surface is at around 14.7 psi, and the human body can withstand up to 50 psi on impact, and up to 400 when the pressure is added gradually.
Okay, so the ocean consists of 5 main layers that goes from the shallowest to the deepest depths of the sea. So the first layer is the epipelagic zone, which goes from the surface to 200 meters down. This zone has lots of sunlight, which means lots of organisms, hence the name, the sunlight zone, which is its other name referred to. Because there's lots of sunlight, this means plants produce more photosynthesis, and also water absorbs light. So when the water absorbs the light in the surface, then the sunlight does not reach the bottom. That's why you only see sunlight mostly in the sunlight zone. Temperature here is mixed with 97 degrees to 28 degrees Fahrenheit.
The pressure is around 15 psi to 330 psi.
The next layer is the mesopelagic layer, also known as the twilight zone, because there's little to no sun. In this area, animals begin to become bioluminescent, which is a biochemical emission of light. Here, temperatures are far from steady because of something called a thermocline, which is a steep change of warm water to cold water.
The pressure is around 330 psi to 1500 psi.
The third zone is the bathypelagic zone, which is 1,000 to 4,000 meters down. The only light in this zone are bioluminescent animals, so you wouldn't see any sun in this zone. And it's also called the midnight zone because it's so dark. Temperatures here are steady but cold, 39 degrees Fahrenheit.
The pressure is around 1500 psi to 5850 psi.
The fourth zone is the abyssopelagic zone, also known as the abyssal zone. This zone spans from 4,000 to 6,000 meters down, and this zone is pitch black, no light at all. It's dark and freezing, that's why there's very few animals here, and 1/3 of the seafloor is in this zone, which contains trenches, plains, and seamounts.
The pressure is around 5850 psi to 8820 psi.
The last zone is the hadopelagic zone, named after the Greek god of the underworld, Hades. This zone is from 6,000 to around 10,994 meters down, which is, as we know, as the bottom of the Mariana Trench. This zone is mostly trenches, that's why the bottom would be the Mariana Trench, and there's harsh conditions and lots of pressure. It is the deepest zone, but temperature steady with 32 degrees Fahrenheit, just about freezing.
The pressure is around 8820 psi to 15,750 psi.
So there are 4 types of aquatic plants: submerged, emergent, free-floating, and algae. Submerged plants grow entirely underwater, so their stems and leaves are underwater. Emergent plants are rooted at the bottom, and their stems and leaves extend outward. Free-floating plants like lily pads float on the surface, An algae, like seaweed, is a simple non-flowering plant. Aquatic plants provide a really nice habitat and provide lots of food for a majority of marine animals, and they actually provide about 70 to 80% of the oxygen we breathe on land today.
Okay. So waves. I always love to go to the beach and swim in the ocean and then get crashed by the waves, and I always wonder how waves work. So waves are considered as a disturbance in the surface of the ocean. They're formed by vibrations in particles where water molecules become disturbed. This is mostly caused by wind, but can be also caused by gravitational force or water motion. Tsunamis are a long series of waves caused by seaquakes, which are earthquakes on the seafloor. So to measure a wave, we have the diagram up there. So the wave crest is the highest part of the wave, and the wave trough is the lowest part. The height is measured vertically from the crest to the trough, and the amplitude is measured vertically from the crest to the sea level. Every wave also has a specific wavelength. So the wavelength is the measurement of the top of one crest to the top of another crest. Speed also depends on how waves form. So waves can travel, like they could be in the middle of the ocean and then travel all the way before they actually hit the coast. To find the speed of a wave, speed equals wavelength times frequency, where frequency are the number of wavelengths that pass in 1 second.
So tides are the daily rising and falling of the Earth's surface water affected by the gravitational pull of bodies in space around us. There's 4 major types of tides. There's high tides, low tides, spring tides, and neap tides. So the moon's gravitational pull has the biggest effect on our water. As you can see over there, it creates like a bulge around the Earth. And if you're in the part that is more outward, you would be experiencing a high tide, where the water rises. The area where the water rises the most is in the Bay of Fundy in Canada, which is about 56 feet, and it rises the least in the Mediterranean Sea, where it rises about 1 foot. The other parts, where the water is not outwards, is where you would experience a low tide, where the water just goes down. Spring tides occur when the sun, the moon, and the earth all align, or in the moon's full moon or new moon phase, where the water rises more than it would for regular high tide, because the gravitational pull is multiplied because the sun and the moon are pulling in the same direction. And neap tides are when the sun and the earth align and the moon is perpendicular to the earth, causing the water to be pulled in both directions, and the water is almost equal all the way around Earth.
So shells. So I love walking on the beach and picking up all the cool shells I can find. So shells are a protective shell outer layer created by marine mollusks, which are like snails, slugs, oysters, clams, and mussels. They use this as their home, their protection, a hiding spot, or to help them move. So these mollusks pull 2 dissolved chemicals from the water, calcium and carbonate, to create calcium carbonate, and that's what they use to create the shells. Actually, so as shells grow, mollusks grow. So a mollusk used to have that small of a shell where you can see the one line. It used to be that small. And then they added another layer and another layer. And that's what the lines on each shell represent. We mostly see shells in the epipelagic zone because they dissolve under pressure, so you wouldn't see it down below. 2 common types of shells are gastropods and bivalves. So gastropods are from snails and slugs, and bivalves would be from clams and mussels. So I love collecting shells myself, so I actually made like a little diagram over there. So I collected all those shells from the Sandy Hook beach last summer, and I actually found out and classified them. So you see clams over there. On the top, there's an angel wing shell because it looks like angel wings. You got moon snail shells and whelks. And that's all. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy.
So great job on your iMovies. Great job today. Wonderful audience. Thank you so much. I hope you learned a lot today, both from the presentations and our guest speakers.